Hello, welcome back to SLAB Talk. The all black outfit today, black t-shirt, black hat. Yes, Darth Vader. Yes, but today we're talking about slab, and I want to spend some time discussing the construction of the slab, the changes in the slab that CGC did, and the problem that CGC had, and the easy solution that would have solved all the problems going forward. Okay, um, just my take on the situation. First, for those that are not aware, for a long time, CGC used an inner well. This is the inner well. Shockingly, I can't believe that I saved one of these. Usually, after I de-slap a book, I chuck this in the recycle bin, but somehow I saved one, and it's the perfect tool to use. And just look at the distortion. You see the distortion of the way the light hit, and you see the red. Look at that. Yes, this material creates the distortion. Keep that in mind. Okay, by just the way it hits the light. It's pretty cool actually. Anyhow, books are sealed in this barracks material, and then of course put inside a slab. Okay, now if you this is a typical slab. It's made of two half. Okay, as you can see, two half. There is a front, and then there's the back. Okay, it's not exactly the same size and thickness, but there's a front and then there's a back. Okay, the front is on top. Correct, the front is on top and the back is the bottom is the back, and the bottom is a little bit thicker. Okay, so keep that in mind. I want to bring out another example. Here you have a thicker slab that CGC used for golden age books or square bound book, anything that's too thick. And once again, if you look, oh, right there, the slab is made up of, as you can see, two half. Okay, the top half and the bottom half. The top half is exactly the same as the top half of this thinner slab, and of course the bottom half is where it becomes much thicker, right? Okay, so let's show that one more time. As you can see, there you go. Okay, so that's it. All right, keep that in mind. Hopefully that's crystal clear in everyone's mind on how the old way slab was constructed. Now, based on everything that I read, what happened was the company that was providing CGC with this material for over a decade, 15 years, was, I guess, closing the shop, went out of business, whatever reason. CGC no longer had this to use, so they come up with a new slab, and part of the new slab was, of course, because they don't have this material. Okay, they no longer have access to this material, the barracks material. They decided that to redesign the holder so that the book is whole inside a slab with mylar. They have a mylar sheet in the front, a mylar sheet in the back, and then the book is held in place by the pressure of the slab. Okay, so it has to be tight. Okay, that's where the problem is. The moment that the decision to design a slab, the quantum decision to design it so that the book is held as it's floating in space without the inner well, and pressures from both the front and the back of the slab are needed to hold the book in place. That's where the rainbow and Newton effect start to become very popular, very common. Okay, and for those that that watched my video recently on how I show you can slide a piece of here's an example of a book, a slab. Okay, for those that see the other video where I show you how to slide a piece of, this is actually a barracks. I cut that inner well piece, a piece of it. So this is actually part of the inner well. It's barely, it's not even 1/32 thickness. Okay, it's extremely thin, but it's stronger than the typical mylar. But as I demonstrated in the video on how to remove the rainbow effect, as you can see, okay, so look at that. I slit this right through the crack. You can see it's fairly tight, but not super tight. But if this had any kind of resistance as you move up and down, that means that the inner well is pressing very tight against the surface of the inner surface of this plastic. So, and that's what caused the rainbow effect, the Newton effect as they call it. Okay, so when CGC try to get rid of the Newton effect, sadly it cannot be done, because ultimately the way the books are held inside the slab is what causes it. It's too tight, and the material, even mylar, when it's pressed tight against the plastic, give off the optical visual look that most people didn't care for. Now, what would I have done if I was running CGC, or if I was in management at CGC? The right decision would have been to stop slabbing. Okay, because even if 1,000 slabs were returned to be redone, and that's, I have no idea what the right number is, okay, but it would easily cost CGC, remember CGC at the time where the problem arrived, reimburse anyone for the shipping cost. So they had to pay for the shipping of the slab going back to CGC, re-slab it, and then spend money to ship the slab back to you. So right there, the round trip would easily cost at least $25, at least $25, depending on where you live, if not more, okay, because they had to cover insurance and all that stuff. So, and then the cost of the material, the time, all that stuff is not cheap. So even if you think about it, CGC slab literally tens and thousands of books every week, okay, if not maybe even say 20,000. They might even slab 5,000 books a week. And even if 5% of those books need to be returned, you can do the math, okay? 5% of 20,000 books that they slab each month, that's a lot. That's 1,000 slab. 1,000 multiplied by, say, let's say $30 of expenses to redo the slab. That's a lot of money, okay? That's a lot of money. And they have not completely removed the problem, okay? Even CGC, even today, would say that there are a certain level, accepted level of Newton ring, and people should not be too upset if they see a little bit here and there. And even when you do this, okay, even when you use this method to reduce and remove the Newton ring, I can tell you it can return. I have seen it happen with my slab when I play around with it, because ultimately all you do right now is adding air and space between the material and the plastic. But over time, the material inside the inner well can press back against the plastic, and the Newton effect will return, okay? There's no way getting around it. Luckily for many people, CGC have found an alternative supplier of the barracks material, so now they are going back to use the inner well. Okay, so CGC is back to using the inner well, and that is a big help because now they don't rely on the pressure, the tight pressure of the two half of the plastic to hold the book in place. Does that make sense? Okay, so they're back to where they used to be. But here is my comment and solution that I thought if I was running CGC, this is what I would have done that would have eliminated the problem altogether. Okay, altogether. And it go back to this, the thickness of the half. CGC would have to no doubt recalibrate the machine, so that will cost money. Okay, CGC of course would have to reorder a bunch of this. Who knows how much it costs. Is at the end of the day, even if they have to scrap say 50,000 pieces of this, I think is in the long run it would have been a better business decision to do instead of dealing with the Newton effect for years and years and years to come. Okay, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but ultimately, what is my solution? Increase the thickness of the slab. It's that simple, and you don't even have to do as I show. You don't even have to do two halves. Okay, it's about increasing the thickness of the bottom. The front can stay the same. There's no changes there. You don't have to throw away, scrap anything. But as far as the bottom, just make it 1/8 of an inch thicker. Not a lot. Not a lot. 1/8 of an inch thicker to give more space, more room for the inner well to breathe inside. This way it does not press hard against the surface of either the front and the back. And voila, no Newton ring. Does this sound too simple? Sometimes the easiest solution is very simple. Instead of like trying to fix something that is not fixable as far as the Newton ring, you know, for me, reordering, readjusting the size of the slab so that the bottom, just the bottom, is 1/8 of an inch thicker is all you need to do, other than if you need to recalibrate the machine to adjust to the different thickness of the slab in order to do, which I think is not hard. Remember, CGC is pressing slab either this thick or thinner, right? There's multiple size, okay? Multiple size. So it's not as if the machine cannot be calibrated for different thickness. So I don't even think that will cost a lot of money or require CGC to buy a brand new machine. Of course, I don't know the inner workings of the machine or how things are calibrated. I could be wrong, okay? I'm not saying that I know all the answer, but I think the right solution and the easy solution would have been to increase the thickness of the bottom half of the slab. Just 1/8 of an inch, give a little extra space, even a tiny extra space is needed. It's all that is needed for the inner well to move to have room to move a little bit inside the slab to remove any chance of a Newton ring effect. Does that make sense? Does anything that I said in this video make sense? Well, I hope it does. Thanks for watching.